Had a little problem with that earlier. So thank you everybody and thanks for coming. As Rob said, my name is Chris and I am an e-learning developer. So what does it mean to be an e-learning developer? I wanted to start with that because this is a question I get asked all the time. Let me move this a little closer. Is that good enough at the back? Yeah? Awesome. Does it mean I'm a software developer? Does it mean I'm an instructional designer? Does it mean what? And I would like to say it's kind of all of the above. I love learning. I love technology. And to me, e-learning is the one field that brings it all together. But to be honest, actually, I didn't start as e-learning as a career. I didn't actually intend to be an e-learning developer. I just kind of fell into it through circumstance. Historically, I'm actually a web page and application developer way back when the whole thing was getting started. I opened my first computer company in 1995, it's Patchworks Computer, pretty much right out of high school. I specialized in, right then, there really wasn't much of an internet per se, but BBS. Anybody remember the BBS days? Yeah? Yeah, setting up BBS systems, setting up networks, setting up those old clunky modems. And from there, I transitioned into web development until I met my beautiful wife, who was from Korea, who said, why don't we go to Korea and take a little tour? Nature took its course, and so we had to stay there another 9 months. And after that, another year, and so on and so on. And I found myself transitioning from being, I wouldn't call myself a developer per se, I'd more call myself a computer guy, into being an educator. And through that, I started to think about how I could apply what I know to education. And so in 2003, I started up, I'm kind of addicted to startups, you'll find out soon. I started up an education institute that actually functioned on a flipped classroom. At the time, there hadn't even been such a thing as a flipped classroom. And at the time, there wasn't even, I think, a word for e-learning. It was called Computer Assisted Language Learning, which had a great abbreviation of CALL, but not quite the ring to it. And this actually, here is a screenshot of my first web portal in 2003. The premise of the school was the Korean education system was all about grammar and not about speaking, and not about conversation. And I didn't like that because I thought that grammar is really boring. And a lot of the topics that we're learning were really boring. And you didn't really need an instructor to teach them. So, well, what I'll do is I'll take that whole component, move it online, have the students do that at home, come into class, and then we can have fun in class. So this here, I'm going to show you a little funny. This here actually ended up with my team comprising about 3,000 online resources and games, 21 books, and a myriad of other resources, including, this is one of my favorites here. I'm going to call Susan out on this. Susan's the president of Agile Vancouver there. She was actually the illustrator for this book here. She's a wonderful water painter. And I made this cool book here and to teach sight words, but I turned this into an application. And this is my first kind of big experiment on gamification. Later in the book, let me find the page here, our lead character finds himself going down the waterfall, and I turned that into a video game right in the book. So you turn the page in the virtual book, and then you got to play the video game right in the book, and people went crazy for it. And so, I guess my gamified, interactive e-learning career began. And around 2006, I'm going to fast forward, I realize I'm going to get into a huge backstory, we're not going to get into the point here. Around 2006, I actually was speaking at the Asian Computer Assisted Language Learner Conference. I was a plenary speaker on the future of online education. And I had a live class actually join in the presentation, which was really cool. So two-way with the presentation to show where things could go from here. And so from there, I got involved with the Korean government and to revise the elementary school system to basically turn it into a flipped classroom system. And I ended up finding myself in a weird situation. Koreans don't go halfway with things. They go all or nothing. So when I started talking to the education system about bringing in a hybridized system, they started to bring in TV studios, they started to bring in like a ton of programmers, and it just was a massive, massive endeavor. And so they actually asked me to be in some of these TV shows. Well, I didn't even mention TV shows, right? Their bandwidth is an issue, right? In 2006, right? It still is here, not there, but in 2006, bandwidth is a big issue. And they were like, well, how do we do this? Well, let's put it on TV. And then the kids can do it at home, and they can do the activities at home on their computer, they can watch it on TV, and then they can come into class and do it. So, and they said, hey, well, why don't you actually start some of the shows? And I'm trying to show you here just the crazy myriad of things I've done as an e-learning developer. And so they asked me to start an Asian children's TV show. Who here has ever watched an Asian children's TV show? I mean specifically Korean or Japanese. Yeah. Well, they are great. And they said, hey, you know what? You're going to teach stories as a pilot. So, awesome. Did the obligatory thing. I watched Top Gun, got it all set up, got on set. They handed me a sword and an eye patch. The Asian accent strikes again. A pirate, if you didn't get it. So yeah, I quickly watched a couple episodes of SpongeBob on my phone. I'm like, arr, yardies. Got into that. And this was a wild ride, and I ended up doing a whole bunch of TV shows. And I thought, for your enjoyment, just to show you how crazy things can get, I would show you the most embarrassing, wacky clip ever to be filmed. Not just me, but ever to be filmed. And take a bit of nerve to throw this in here. Yeah. Yeah. They showed that for years. Yeah, well, if you're going to pay for something, it might as well be something funny, right? This is actually, if you're trying to figure out what it is, it's not a carrot. It's a tokepi, which is a kind of Korean boogeyman monster thing. Why it's teaching kids how to fry an egg, I have no idea. But so, come on, don't pause. Oh, right. This is a bit of a tech demo in itself. I'd like to tell you though, I'm always experimenting. And this is one thing about the e-learning field. It's always changing. What's acceptable one week is not the next. Take Flash. I don't know, most of the stuff I did is in Flash. Who here still advocates using Flash on their website? No. Yeah, so these are just a couple of screenshots to go through quickly, just a few of the projects I've done. This is a hiring and onboarding simulation course. I did the actual computer, the phone, the desk, and everything that we're using at the organization. I modeled that all in 3D. So it was a first-person simulation. You actually had to check your email on there and find some applicants and then email the applicants and then make the phone call. It was all scripted simulations, but it was just a huge interactive simulation. It was pretty awesome. From there, this is a little bit of the video work I've done. This is an After Effects, if you know it. It's a investigation. Basically, you have to interview your employee. This is for really cool. I often do very technical topics which are extremely boring. So the only way to make them interesting is to have a spin on them, essentially. So this one was you have to interview your employee. It's like where in the world is Carmen San Diego? You fly from location to location, you interview your friends, we filmed it from a green screen and everything, and then you have to find the right product. So it's gamified learning, right? On very, very boring topics. And this handsome gentleman here, put your hand up in the audience there, Steve Adolf there. This is a project I'll be getting into a little bit later. So that's me. Now who's my audience? Who are you? By this being Agile Vancouver, and this being, as Rob said, off the beaten path for Agile Vancouver eLearning, I figure you're either one of three things. One, you're in software development. Two, you're in education. Or three, you're something else. So what I want you guys to do, if you can do me a favor, I also have a couple more questions up here. I want to do a little tech demo. This presentation I'll get into later if you care. It's actually part of a new system I'm building. So I want to find out from you your answers. So if you can do me a favor, everybody hopefully has a phone. I don't. I left it over there somewhere. But this, if you could, go to this URL. You will see those three questions posed there. And if you could just click on each one and click vote really quickly. You don't have to do it. But and tell me if the URL doesn't work. I did it earlier today. So. Let's see how that. We've got anybody voting. Oh, but
You don't allow you to choose two. You have to choose one or the other.
oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Well, who do you more relate to, I guess? Let's go ahead, maybe. Let's have an update on the results here. Oh, yeah, a couple more votes here. I'm very sorry about the font size. I'll read it to you. Again, I did it earlier today. You get into hours in a day issues when you're doing as much as I do. Software development is way in the lead. Top one there is software development. Bottom one there is education. Oh, we got another. I'll give that about 10 more seconds.
That's me, because I
We change the side.
voted twice.
Yeah. All right, well, that's about enough time. So it looks like the majority of you are software developers. And to the second question, have you ever done e-learning before? Yeah. Surprising, actually. We have, and I'm sorry about the resolution here. I'm assuming that's a 15. Yeah, that's a 15 yes, 3 no. 14 say yes for positive experience. So 15 of you have done e-learning before. 3 of you haven't. 14 of you have had a positive experience, and 3 have not. So actually, funny enough, that top stat of 15 yes and 3 no is actually right along with the industry standard for the penetration of e-learning, which I think that's at 77% right now. So I'm going to give one last refresh just for fun. See if we got any latecomers here. But I don't want to spend all day refreshing this thing. Oh, we got a few more. So 17 software development. Final call. If you haven't done it, I'm very sorry. Gotta move on. 17 yes. 17, sorry, software development, 3 in education, and 2 in other. And have you ever done e-learning before? We have 17 yes, 5 no, and positive experience. We have 15 yes and 20 no. That's pretty awesome. That many have had positive experience. Now, let me see if I can actually get back.
Did you say 15 yes and 20 no?
No, 2 no. You want me to go back? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You want me to go back? No? Okay. Moving. You can actually check on the phone itself. You should be able to see. And if you're on the web page, there's actually a little menu there. You can click results if you really care later. Okay. So I did notice this on the way in. Cover that. You ever seen that old puzzle with the? This is kind of like that in my head. So ground rules. As I go on, I tend to just go on and go through. Well, this is a presentation, which I guess is kind of the point to it. But if you have any questions as I go on about anything you see, or just generally, please, put up your hand. I'll stop. Take your questions. Yes, sir.
You mentioned something about flipped class.
Yeah.
What is that?
The flipped classroom is normally when you have your traditional class. You do your class, you get your homework, right? And you go home, you do your homework, right? A flipped classroom is much more interesting. And I'll get into that a bit later because, no, I'll answer your question now, but it's actually coming up later, so very, very quickly. The flipped classroom is essentially you learn what you're going to learn in the classroom first. And so when you get into class, you already know your stuff. And you may say, why are you going to class? Get into that one. All right. So, just very quickly, the 3 questions we will be addressing. I always like to trifecta 3 things, okay? That we will be addressing through this presentation. Number 1, is e-learning closer to software or classroom training? 2, how can Agile be used in the development of e-learning? And 3, taking a beat. How can e-learning be used to enable and sustain an Agile environment? Now, before we get into these questions, there's one major point I want to address in e-learning, okay? And that is the 2 schools of e-learning. Now, you won't find this on the web, look it up. These are my terms. If somebody else has written about them, I'd love to read it, but this is the way I look at e-learning. We have 2 kinds of e-learning. E-learning for effect and e-learning for compliance. I have never done an e-learning for a compliance course, and I don't think I ever will. Unless somebody throws buckets of cash at me, maybe. But I avoid them like the plague. What's the difference? E-learning for effect, e-learning for compliance. Well, a lot of those of you who had a negative experience may relate to this. Who's ever done an e-learning course or e-learning course where it says, read this document, do this quiz, pass the quiz? That is e-learning for compliance. They don't really care if you pass or fail so much as you've just done it. I was thinking, like, how can it really illustrate e-learning for compliance? Well, I found one picture, I think, that sums it up perfectly. If anybody recognizes that. Yeah, I see 3 giggles. This is the terms of service agreement for installing OS X with Sandy, or Android update, or a new version of Windows, or whatever. Who in the last year has actually had one of these terms of service agreements pop up? Keep your hand up. Not done. So, pretty much everybody. Now keep it up, okay? My question to you, who actually read, keep your hand up if you have, the terms of service agreement? 1. You actually read the whole thing? In 2? Yeah. Oh, 2, sorry, I didn't see that. Yeah, the majority of you though haven't, right? And do you think the company wants you to read it? Or do you think they care? Why do they do it? Pardon me?
So they can say that you agreed to it.
Exactly. Cover their butt, essentially. In a good example, the e-learning field, okay? A 25-page safety manual, you got a quiz at the end, check yes, chop your fingers off on a bandsaw. Well, the company can go back when you sue them and say, look, they did the e-learning, they passed the test, they're certified, right? Or a harassment in the workplace, well, look, they did the e-learning, they checked, it's done, right? These e-learning courses, I think, really have no point. You might as well give somebody a contract or give them one of these and just say done, okay? What I like to do is e-learning for effect. And I came up with this little sentence here that I think sums it up. Results have a qualifiable and quantifiable effect on the business. What I mean by that is after people have completed the e-learning, something changes. Hopefully something positive. For example, if you were to do a sales training, okay, let's say company ABC was to invest in sales training, and it's an e-learning course. Everybody completes an e-learning course, sales don't improve. What do you think about an e-learning course? Useless. I heard a couple of that. Yes, useless. And this is e-learning for effect. It has to have some sort of measurable and positive effect on the business. If it's to reduce Accidents in the workplace. Accidents go down. You can measure the success of this style of e-learning with results. Sales have to improve. Accidents have to go down. What have you. So I'll give you, this is an interesting one. Anybody know who that is? Guy Kawasaki? Apple evangelist and now social media titan. And this is lynda.com. This is not an interactive website. You know, I always mention interactive this, interactive that, but this is not an interactive website. Yet this is the only e-learning site I actually pay for. You know why? All right, I'll tell you. Because it's good content. I have this mantra when starting any project, and that is, content is king. If you don't start with good content, you're going to add up. I think the same thing is the same with pretty much any project, right? If you don't start with a good foundation, you're going to fail, right? Like, for example, if you were to say, hey, Chris, you know, you have this great e-learning project to do. I can give you the best developer in the world, or I can give you a great instructional designer. Who do you think you're going to pick?
It's a room full of software development.
I know, but everyone's going to get moved. Maybe the weather's keeping everyone down. So, just to first a little, I guess that's not first, I guess we're right into it. A little first, why should you care about e-learning? I'm going to give you a few quick e-learning stats. I'm not going to dwell on it a lot. First up, e-learning is now, as of last year, a $107 billion industry. Do you know how big the software industry is? Approximately? Deep review really fast.
Depending on whose numbers you use, about a $2 trillion industry.
2 trillion? I guess it lost like 1.7 2 years old. Yeah. So this is about 5% of that. But keep in mind, this is a niche market. This is education. This is actually quite huge. That's a big number, right? When I talk about software, it's talking about everything, right? When you talk about this, it's just training in e-learning. Right now, 77% of the corporate market, this is a US stat by the way, I couldn't find for Canada, uses some form of e-learning. And e-learning as of last year is actually undergoing a 25% annual growth rate. So it's huge. This is last year's stat, by the way, which is about the biggest year in e-learning, so it hasn't been 25% every year. But that's still pretty good. So, some advantages of e-learning. Some advantages of e-learning. So, consistent delivery. And I want to touch on these points. I flipped through the last one, doesn't really matter. Here's a huge point of e-learning is consistency, consistency, consistency. And this is one way that e-learning is much closer to software than it is to in-person training. When I'm in a class, like a class, I don't want perfect consistency. I don't want to stand here and just say the same thing over and over. This is one thing that actually spawned the flipped classroom. This is most of what I do now in projects is doing that first part, the consistent part. For example, in Agile, teaching Scrum or teaching any kind of transformation, there's always a component that is repetitive and repetitive, repetitive. And let me give you a case study on that. Let's say I was starting a company on hamster juggling. Okay, and I was the world #1 hamster juggler. So I want to diversify, I want to spread out, so I hire 5 people, I teach them how to hamster juggle, I send them out there to teach classes, and are they going to do as good a job as me? No, I'm the world's best hamster juggler, right? So that's where e-learning really shines. You get, in a perfect world, the best person at their best on a vetted performance. You know, you should have some sort of vetting to make sure the content is accurate. And that content is delivered consistently every time. If I'm part of, a lot of the work I've been doing over the last few years has been with Agile companies, specifically those doing transformations. And this is a big point. They hire a bunch of consultants, they send them out there, and they teach their way. Their way may be right, their way may be wrong, but if you're hiring a bunch of people, you hire 10 people, they're probably going to teach 10 ways. This eliminates that. Now, I'm not saying it takes place of in-person training, because I tell you, this is the other part of the flipped classroom. You want to get there, especially for transformation companies, you want to get there and do that transformation. You want to get there and you want to talk to the people, but you want the people all on the same page before you begin. And that's what eLearning does. These are pretty fast, on demand, overlooked, very, very important. You try to get, let's say, here, let me ask you another stat. Who works for a distributed company? 1, 2, 3, 4. Jody, of course, we work together at eLearning Squared, and we're a distributed company. Most of you do not. But generally, even in a company that's in person, it is hard to get everybody in the same place at the same time. Really hard. Especially when you're doing management level training and everybody's flying off here, flying off there, and going to the golf course this day. It is almost impossible to nail everybody's feet down, except for maybe one day. And on that one day, do you really want to be doing Agile 101? No. You want to be getting in there and doing the nitty-gritty, right? And that's, again, what eLearning can help. You can do it on the golf course. Everything I've done the last 4 years is on your phone. Just sit there, wait for your shot, do eLearning. Scalable. That's pretty obvious. I'm not going into that. You got something online, doesn't matter if one person does it or a million people, right? Doesn't raise your costs anymore. Bandwidth used to be a big cost. Bandwidth is a null issue now, right? I mean, I've got an AWS, and they're one of the few places that charge for bandwidth, but they're also like the fastest, and like, 1,000 people do a course, 25 cents. Ooh, And here's another point, testable and verifiable. I don't want to hit on that point too much, but you get the point, right? You can test it, verify it, make sure everybody's done it. That's, there is always a certain compliance factor. So the projects I do aren't eLearning for compliance, but they have to have a certain compliance factor. You gotta know people have done it, right? So, eLearning. What do you think? More like classroom training or more like software from what you've heard so far? Obviously I've been through it, but from what you've heard from me so far. Most of you are software developers, so who thinks classroom training? Software. Okay, not everyone's got their hand up. Okay, one classroom. 1, 2. Software. Okay, we got about most people think software, and in fact, I always treat it like software, including my development process, which I shall get into. So here's a few things. Again, obviously I'm going to compare directly to software development. Team focus, iterative. The user experience is important. Scripted interactions. This, can you tell me a piece of software that does not script all their interactions? Just, click whatever and it'll do whatever. No? But in the class, can you do that? Somebody throw out a question and change the lesson? Come on, people.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So, testing feedback, inspect and adapt. Now, I'd like to start on team focused here. And can eLearning be done solo? Yes. But I'd like to show you just over the years some of the skills I've had to adopt to produce eLearning. This is just a quick dump of what came off my head. Content management, video production, storyboarding, da-da-da. Does this sound like one person's job? Could be, but anything. I mean, some great software is developed by a single person, right? But, majority of it's done team-based. Especially we're here for Agile, so. Agile doesn't work so well with one person. Tools. These are some of the tools I have used to develop eLearning. Not just random out-of-the-hat eLearning, but actual tools. You'll probably recognize some of these as, software defect tracking tools, project management tools. I don't know if you could really consider HTML5 a tool. It's not really. That's the only ink one in there. These are the tools I've used just in the last year. And these are the tools I've used in the last 30 days. Every single one of them that is in white I have touched in that period. So there is a lot involved to doing e-learning. So is e-learning team-based? I would say so. So probably at this point you're like, oh my God, that's one, there's 5 more, is he really gonna go no. Not gonna put you through that. I instead am gonna wrap all these points up in a case study. And that is the case study of a startup I did with Steve Adolph and involvement from Susan and several others called Development Knowledge. I don't know if you can read that bit on the bottom. Sorry, it's a little dark. We actually had this made into a t-shirt. Right here. This is defeat the waste in your system, development knowledge. The double entendre is definitely intentional. These are the 7 wastes of lean, by the way. And what I want to show you here is how my e-learning development process is very close, I think, to software development. So we've got this concept for a company, and the company is based on the flipped classroom. We go, essentially, Steve is the one who conceptualized the company. Essentially, he flies all over the place, teaching the same thing over and over and over and over and over. So why don't we take that, as I've already explained, throw it into e-learning, make it fun, make it interactive. So what's the first thing we're going to do? Is create a prototype. And so, oh, actually, I flipped the slides around, sorry. Essentially, it's a story. This is actually a screenshot of the prototype, so that works. And how that became that. So this, do the premise. Ooh, is it so faster? There we go there. Sorry, just had to catch up to myself. So, if any of you do, you saw the slides were kind of fun on here. If anybody actually wants to read any of this or see all the slides, I actually redid my website over the weekend to support this. This is actually all fed live off my website. This is part, again, as I said, of a tool I'm developing. So this is all put together in the back end of the tool, animations, everything. So this is also for a collaborative environment, so people can develop presentations together. You can do it on your phone, do it on your tablet, do it on the road, you know. And also, you know, how many times have you shown up to places? I had tech problems getting here this morning. I spent almost 5 minutes before my presentation going, you know, because I plugged the input into the output there. But, you know, with this kind of technology, it really doesn't matter. You can put it on any device and run it. I could have plugged my phone into there and run it. So, yeah, go to the website, you'll see all the slides there. It's up and down, move between the slides. So, this is the first prototype for our company. This is, anybody know what that, probably not in the diagram. That's a Scrum machine. The Scrum machine. I have a little video clip of it in a bit, you'll see how it applies to it. That's a Scrum machine. But this was actually drawn on I drew this on a piece of paper and with a Sharpie and scanned it. You know, prototyping, right? I don't want to spend all the time and money to get an artist involved before I know something will work. And this is a brief. You know, I've got little fast forward things on here because I'm going to fast forward. It's just as we go through, it's just 1 minute long. This is a brief view of this first demo for our product.
What exactly is Scrum? Scrum is a way for a team of people to deliver a product or service.
It's like 6 minutes long. I didn't want to have you sit down.
Instead of setting the size of the iteration backlog to be just big enough to hold only the work they can commit to finishing in a single iteration. Scrum Master oversees the process and makes sure everything goes smoothly. When there is a problem, the Scrum Master steps in to remove the obstacles and keep the process flowing. At the end of the iteration, the team has delivered something of value. After the iteration, the team holds a retrospective and takes a look at the iteration. They evaluate what they have done and look to see where things can be improved. Taking the lessons from the previous iterations, the team repeats the process over and over until all the work is done and the finished job is complete.
there was a quiz at the end. It just kind of skips through. I dumped it into a video earlier. So after we did this, we had of course, there we go. I just want to show that. Here's another way eLearning is like software development. Who knows what Easter egg is? Yeah, all of my eLearning, if you ever go through it, has Easter eggs. Oh, it's just a thing I do, right? If anybody could ever find the arch demon Bablock, let me know. Bablock is this mouse's body knowledge, if you know that one. So this was probably the most subtle and time-consuming Easter egg I ever built in, because I'm a huge gamer. I love games. I love game design and game development. If you had gone to the very, very beginning of this, you would have seen a little animation of how it could be used to design software with the Space Invaders game. Nobody ever figured it out, but if you actually clicked on that game, it would have actually given you, I don't know why that didn't come up full screen there. My ship's down at the bottom. I didn't set up my iframe right, I guess. No worries. But it would have actually given you a playable version of Space Invaders. Yeah, one of my favorite games of all time. Actually, I'm huge into building retro consoles. So, after we did that, we had a retrospective, obviously. And what do you think? Well, we thought it didn't really work. At least I thought it didn't work. For one, it took way too long. It took me like 2 weeks to animate that. If you go through all 5 minutes, every stupid little box, every little line, everything needs to be animated. Secondly, it's not interactive. Like, yeah, there's a quiz at the end. Yeah, we could have thrown a couple interactions, but I always think, only put interactions in where they're warranted, and frankly, they're not really warranted. It tells a story, it goes through, it's done. So we essentially went back to the drawing board and decided we'll rebuild this thing from the ground up. So we built what I lovingly call the Ghetto Studio. This is Steve here on a test. Put in a 3-layer soundproofing wall in my garage. I live in suburbia. We film on weekends, and people really like mowing their lawns on weekends. This lovely green screen here is actually some 2x4s with bed sheets stapled to it. And it worked great. We got a new artist involved. You see all the little comic characters as we go through. That's actually done by Dave Merritt, who's an amazing comic artist who did all the artwork for that. And who knows this tool? It is Trello, my favorite tool of all time. I swear, if I have to build a fence, I will make a Trello board for it. I've been an amazing fan of Trello for years. It is just the easiest tool. I tried using Jira and Confluence and Rally, and you spend more time training people on those tools than actually using those tools. I figure if you ever have a tool with something like this and you need an administrator for it, there's something wrong. People pick that up in like 5 seconds. So this is an actual board from one of the units. Obviously, it's done long ago in 2013, so all the cards were there. I just moved them back so you can see it. And so we essentially went back. We iterated through. We did each video through, and we made a new website for it, a whole new portal. This actually, top bar, this is all interactive as well. These guys have little conversations and things. This is actually done the same technology this presentation is done in. And yeah, that's the learning management system. And I'd just like to show you if it works. That is the wrong one. Control tab. Yeah, there we go. This is that unit that we came up with. Looks like you put it full screen already. Perfect. Show you a few little bits of it.
The 7 deadly ways.
Let's get that. Don't interrupt the whole video.
A car arriving at a workstation that is different from the previous car of the same model, it's a real problem. In the manufacturing systems are designed to reduce and minimize that kind of variance. But in a design process, Variance is a source of value, not waste, because we are trying to create value by creating something new. Value is coming through innovation, and that really means creating and exploiting variance. So, if that's the situation,
So we added interactions. I have what I call the 5-minute rule on good e-learning. That means you don't go 5 minutes without an interaction. People tend to tune out after a while, and if you don't do something to keep their attention, and I don't just mean like an expanding and contracting box or something stupid like that. I actually put a blog article on LinkedIn last month on what I call value-added interactions. If you put an interaction that is not navigation-based, I think it needs to do something. It needs to do something to make people think. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time, really. So here are a few of the interactions we put in. Let's go to y'all for a change.
embrace change is the classic agile action. And as we use the opportunities for learning to help us progressively elaborate these requirements and move them through a flow of value moving through our team.
Oh, the video.
So with that in mind, which of the 7 forms of waste do we reduce when we adopt a program or a system of progressive elaboration?
The video lost a little bit there, but here we have an interactive question. You can choose any of these answers, and the video will adapt to that. It'll choose your own eventual video. You want to yell one out?
Defects.
Defects is.
While we certainly see defects as a significant source of waste, the reality is we also risk creating waste from production or processing.
And the second and more interesting part of this is, I love, and I may have said already that in e-learning my specialty is interactive simulations. I love putting people in other people's shoes. It's fun, it's engaging, it gets people going. So I love getting people involved in decision-making processes. So throughout this course, there runs a comic strip where you essentially take the role of Carlos, a new business analyst, and as you learn each of the lessons in the course, a story gets progressively elaborated. And so you get to, based on what you learned, choose the answers in the story. Now I know the text is a little small, so I'm going to choose one at random. I'm going to choose a rock. So your job in this one is to convince the CIO that she should, I can't remember what it was, this one, to go ahead of the project. So, choose the right one. And there you go, you get a successful outcome, and
So let's summarize this
you
unit
can continue
by
on.
revisiting the work objectives. Use lean and agile principles to create value.
Then I need to somehow get my keyboard shortcuts and function keys or something. So, and that was development knowledge. And yeah. So development knowledge essentially, unfortunately, you know, as these things go, that's why you're a little paused, a little sad about it. We kind of ran out of time and money, as happens on many software projects. But we did get that entire course done, and it still lives on today on Front Row Agile, if you ever want to check it out. Or if you want to actually do that unit and play around, right now I have that on my website at chrispatch.ca/BA. That's the full version of the unit you can go through. So I actually have a question, because I've been kind of sitting here for the last 10 minutes going, oh my gosh, there's no clocks in this room, and I left my phone in the car. So can somebody throw me the time? I don't want to go on too long. 7:19, so 15, perfect. All right. So, where are we here? Is e-learning closer to software development, classroom training, Elizabeth? How can Agile be used in the development of e-learning? Do we have any questions or comments on that one? you feel that I have shown you how I use Agile in the development of e-learning? All right, moving on. How can e-learning be used to enable and sustain an Agile environment? Well, I haven't quite gone through that one yet. I believe I've touched on it, but not gone through it. Agile to me is all about continuous improvement. That's what education and training is. I think right now there's a huge revolution in education and training. I don't think it's specifically Agile focused, but it is a revolution. I'll give you a little case study of this gentleman that I know named Peter Hollach. He is an amazing fisherman, and he trains, he runs classes for years and years and years on how to tie flies. He had to actually stop his classes just a year or two ago. Why do you think?
We're doing it on YouTube.
Doing it on YouTube, exactly. I would love to have gone to his classes, but unfortunately I have all my favorite flies bookmarked on YouTube. and this is it, right? Training is undergoing a massive, massive revolution. And this can be brought into a software development environment. Just like in my transition from Flash to HTML5 and then beyond, right? Software is constantly developing. People can't keep going off to college, retraining and coming back, right? Your business processes are constantly evolving and changing. You can't keep having meetings all the time about the new methods. E-learning can be used to bring that into the workplace. People can do it at home, assuming they're compensated for it, of course. You don't want people to do that. Or you could have a dedicated piece of work time where people can go through and keep up with the latest methods of training. And more companies are doing this. Hence the 77% penetration of e-learning. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now. This is a new system. I just rolled this out to the company this Friday, like 3 days ago. This is the wavelength knowledge base. And this is for net objectives in the US. Al Shalloway has kindly given me permission to show you this piece. And this is a collaborative learning and training and knowledge-based environment. And here, let me go Alt-Tab, Control-Tab, oops, Alt, again, Alt-Tab, bang, Control-Tab, bang, there we go, there it is live. So this is a tool for, and I won't be showing you the back end or anything else, there still is a bunch of confidentiality agreements here. But this is a tool we can use to train people on technical processes. But not only that, it's a tool we can use to develop and revise those processes. There's a back end here. Normally when I roll out a piece of software and I want to do an update, what do I have to do? I have to go to the IT, I have to go through a bunch of rigmarole. Here I'm just going back end, these pop-ups, I can just go through, type some new text on, boom. Go a step further with that. Let's say I'm part of a different company. I can actually see an entirely different pages when I log in. There's a whole help system built in here in the back end. You can ask your company for help, you can ask them objectives, you can ask your coach, and it adapts to your user ID and to your access level. So tools like this, I think, are becoming more commonplace. I think software itself is becoming distributed. For example, most of the e-learning tools I use up until this year have been very expensive applications. Storyline is the prevalent application for developing e-learning, and I think it goes for something close to $2,000 Canadian right now. Adobe Captivate is my personal favorite, and you pay monthly for that. It's like $400 or $500 a year. I dropped all that for favor of online free tools. I don't have to pay for these, they're open source. This whole website runs on WordPress. little thing about WordPress too. Who here is software developers? I'm sorry for you educators. Who here is the Drupal fan? Drupal? WordPress? Very few pitching into any of these. Yeah, I used to be huge into the more complicated CMS systems like Drupal. This is easy. WordPress is easy. Anyone can deploy this. Anyone can use it. Anyone can build in this, which is quite amazing. With no front-end software. I think it's absolutely incredible. So I think it's getting close to an hour. And I wanted to open the floor up for some questions, because I know it's supposed to be about an hour presentation. I didn't just want to stop, go. I want a little Q&A here. So does anybody have any questions, comments, suggestions about anything said so far? I have completely answered all of your questions. Okay, one and two.
Chris, I want to ask you, first of all, the tools you're using.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you switched to the online tools and you're using WordPress, but it will be interesting to learn what you use.
Oh, sure. I'll give you an example then of this presentation itself. I did build this, Control Tab, and go back. I did build this, I took this picture with my kids actually, I'm teaching them photography. But I did build this all online, but I used Illustrator to put it together. Every single one of these slides is an Illustrator file, I swear by Illustrator. And when I do any of these interactive videos like this, there is the one tool that stuck with me through the years, through thick and thin, has been Adobe After Effects, which is a video editing tool. Because as standards in web have changed, the only thing really that's been consistent for me in my rock is video. Because video either plays or it doesn't. It doesn't have layer issues, it doesn't have code execution issues, it doesn't have runtime errors, it just plays or it doesn't. So if I had to say what are the tools I use more often than not, I would say, well, you know what, I'm almost exclusively on the Adobe Suite. I edit my audio in Audition. I do the editing from that camera there in Premiere. I do all the effects and graphics in After Effects. Anytime I take photos, it always goes through Lightroom. Always take raw photos, if it's for a client, because you don't want to mess it up. And so it's just Adobe. If I am building an e-learning module, I didn't want to use a back-end tool like this. If I wanted to use a front-end, like an actual program, I would highly, highly recommend Adobe Captivate. It's not the easiest, but I find it's the most expandable, and especially if you're into software, it allows you to, I always end up sticking JavaScript in it to make it do things it shouldn't. It's very, very flexible. If you want a simple tool, anybody, Storyline. It's by far the simplest. You don't need to write a single line of code. In fact, it's got this system in the back end. I can't remember what they call it. It's tags or triggers. It's called a trigger system that approximates coding to do complex interactions. Oh, sorry, Laura.
This is a starter question.
Mm-hmm.
You had quite a few companies. What's the biggest lesson that you can apply to your next one?
Well, that's what I'm trying to apply here. This actually, right now, I'm on another startup. Development Knowledge was one with Steve, now with Jody and several others here. I am on eLearning Squared, marketing and sales. I find myself being the back room. There's infinite amounts of infrastructure in a startup. And I find I always get sucked into that. There's always some new thing you need to do on the website, or some kind of team meeting you need to have to get somebody aligned to this or aligned to that. But, if there's one thing that's always showing tangible, proven results, it's marketing, marketing, and marketing. And,
Okay, so I'm going to challenge you a little bit on something that you said fairly early on.
Mm-hmm.
Not this, okay, so you said, I forget how you phrased it, but but the point is that the point of the learning is changes in behavior. Basically, it changes in outcomes that are measurable and meaningful to, which I think in the corporate environment, we all agree with that is the purpose of putting the learning together.
Yeah.
But you also said that what you start with is the content.
Yes.
And I am going to suggest to you that the starting place is the performance. The starting place is the outcome that you're looking for, not the content. One of the failings of so many e-learning systems and projects and products is that someone says, oh, here's the book, here's the content, we want you to deliver this content to people, as opposed to these are the changes in behavior and outcomes that we're looking for in our project. Let's sit down as an Agile team with all of the key stakeholders, and we're going to bash out what the context is for these outcomes and these performances.
Yeah.
Now, let's figure out how we're going to get there.
Okay. 110% agreement. I'm paraphrasing a lot as I do this. And instructional designer, yes, but needs analysis is always step one. What do you want to accomplish? Yeah, if I'm getting that right. This is where I always start to. I don't just start writing randomly, right? What I mean by the content is the content has to have a point, it has to have a focus. You need a detailed needs analysis. What I use for that is mind mapping. And my mind maps before I even get into the content are quite famously usually about that of the goals that need to be achieved. I can see some about that.
I don't think it's the same as needs analysis. I really don't. I'm talking about, especially in a corporate environment, when you're saying, I want these results, I want these things, I want this performance to change. Let's say it's, I want to reduce on the jobs workers' compensation claims. Okay, I want that. That's the goal. What's the context
Yeah.
in which these accidents happen? Let's look at that. Let's get the people who have the accidents in the room as we talk and we understand what is their day.
All right. Okay, I'll stop you there. Like example, this course, and I can work. Yeah, I actually went and I can work offsite. I embedded myself in the organization. I made friends with the people who were on the phones. I made friends with the managers who were managing those people. I tried to find out where the pain points are. I tried to get stories from people of problems they've had, or what are the performance issues from the higher up, right? And then try to create that into a story. That's kind of the mind map. It's trying to find the whys and the hows, as well as the outcomes, before even writing the content. So there is a bunch of process. I'm actually making a course on that now, eLearning and I have 18 steps. The thing is here, I've only got an hour, and if I went through every single step in eLearning, it would be 10 times that. But and to your point, you phrased it very eloquently, and I 100% agree. Oh. Floor's open? Yes, sir.
Where did you find bed sheets that shade green?
I just found a bunch of fabric on a roll. Yeah, it's not the right chroma key green. Like now I've got the right chroma key green. It was just a green bed sheet, and it looks good in the picture there, but in reality it's completely the wrong color.
It worked pretty well. Did it work quite well, even though it wasn't the right color?
Well, the thing is, the camera matters a lot. Like, if you look at the size of the camera there, if you want to get technical about it, 99% of cameras shoot 8-bit color. 8-bit color doesn't capture very much color information, and that's the problem with most green screens. You can buy a camera, the cheapest one is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema, that'll run you like $700-800, and that thing will capture it can capture RAW, which is every pixel. And if you capture RAW, you'd be just absolutely shocked at what you can use for a green screen. You know, I could really just staple a bunch of dirty laundry to the wall and it would work fine. So, but yeah, I found now I actually watch, because now I'm trying to get really good images, I use LED panels, kind of wrap around the LED panels, and I actually went and tracked down the paint that the Hollywood studios use, and once I put that on, I was like, wow, you know, I really could just be doing this with my cell phone. Any other questions? All right, going once, going twice, and gone. So thank you very much.
Yes.